Sometimes, the man who draws the most attention is the one who refuses to participate in the game entirely. While the world fixates on the noise of competition, status, and social position, this man operates outside the frame. He commands respect not by dominating a room, but by making it irrelevant. He is the Sigma male, and his detachment from the status quo is the clearest proof that a Sigma male is far from normal. If you have ever felt that the prescribed path was never built for you, then stay locked in. By the end of this script, we will reveal the 7 strategic truths that separate the Sigma male from 99% of the population, including the one mindset shift that guarantees he is impossible to control. This is the wisdom you need. Sign number 1. The Sigma intentionally opts out of the power struggle. Most people are defined by where they sit on the social ladder. They climb, they compete, and they obsess over status and rank. But the Sigma male views that entire hierarchy as optional, prioritizing his personal freedom and autonomy over social approval. His detachment is not born from a fear of losing, but from a clear sight of what that competition actually costs: his time, his peace, and his true self. He realizes the social game is merely a distraction from genuine achievement. Even as a young man, the Sigma male likely didn't understand the obsession with popularity or clique rules. He naturally gravitated toward the edges, observing the social dance with a mix of curiosity and boredom. That early independence grew into a powerful principle. He will not be defined by a system he didn't design. This plays out in how he navigates the professional world, where others compete for titles and proximity to the alpha. He focuses on competence and value creation, knowing that true power is portable. He may leave a high-status job if it constricts his freedom, a move that makes zero sense to the normal person addicted to status. This freedom makes him a wild card. He is entirely unburdened by loyalty to the group or fear of social demotion. Because he has no position to defend in the hierarchy, he is harder to predict, harder to manipulate, and impossible to contain. Some might label him a misfit or a rogue, believing he's simply unable to integrate. But the truth is, he possesses the competence of an alpha. He just chooses not to use it to rule others, but to rule himself. Normal chases position. The Sigma male chases independence, and he'll happily remain a true lone wolf outside the walls of the pack. Sign number 2. Solitude is strategy. The Sigma uses his preference for solitude as a deliberate tool for power. The crowd, the average man, they fear being alone. Silence feels like emptiness, a void they must constantly fill with noise, social obligations, or endless scrolling. But for the Sigma, solitude is not a punishment. It's a necessary environment for deep work and strategic recovery. While others are burning energy maintaining a public image, the Sigma is conserving and focusing his mental strength. This deliberate isolation disrupts expectations because it shows he doesn't need external validation to function or grow. That need to constantly seek company stems from an insecurity, a fear that if they stop moving or being seen, they lose relevance. The Sigma, however, knows relevance is built internally. Even as a young man, he likely found the constant social maintenance exhausting, understanding intuitively that the best ideas don't happen in a crowd, they germinate in silence. As he matured, he weaponized this need for quiet, recognizing it as a renewable resource. In modern life, this manifests as declining networking events that offer no clear value, or shutting off notifications for hours to master a specific skill. While people are posting about their weekend social life, he is building the asset that gives him freedom later. This strategic withdrawal creates immense quiet leverage. It makes him harder to drain and impossible to distract, giving him a significant lead over those preoccupied with social maintenance. Some might mistake this need for space as aloofness or arrogance, but it's simply efficient energy management. He isn't ignoring people, he's focusing on the mission. Normal seeks constant connection. He seeks perfect clarity, and he understands you can't have both. Sign number 3. He masters his inner world first. The Sigma achieves an extreme level of self-control, making him immune to external chaos. Most people are reactive. Their entire day is dictated by the last email they read, the last comment they saw, or the last immediate emotion that hits them. They are puppets to their own uncontrolled feelings. The Sigma focuses intently on internal mastery, controlling his thoughts, tempering his emotional responses, and perfecting his habits before engaging the world. This internal fortress breaks the power balance because external pressures simply bounce off. This internal focus is driven by an understanding that the external world is inherently chaotic and unreliable. True power, therefore, cannot be external. It must be self-generated. He learned early that if he couldn't control his own frustration or fear, he certainly couldn't control the variables around him. This trait was likely present when he realized that shouting back during an argument never solved anything, but pausing and managing his own blood pressure always gave him the upper hand. We see this when he handles market crashes or unexpected professional setbacks with startling calm. He doesn't panic because his foundation, his mind, has already been trained for adversity. This discipline makes him fundamentally unmanipulatable because you can't threaten or bribe a man whose greatest asset is his own composure. Critics may see this control as coldness or lack of passion, but it's actually the opposite. It's the passion directed perfectly inward. Normal reacts to the storm. He calibrates the barometer. Sign number 4. He thinks in systems. The Sigma operates multiple steps ahead of the crowd by thinking in unbreakable systems. The average man processes reality through surface-level gossip, immediate emotional reactions, and short-term wins. He deals in snapshots. The Sigma, conversely, sees the entire film. He looks beyond the immediate event to understand the underlying patterns, cycles, and structures that create the event. This systematic view completely disrupts the established order because he sees the weak points others can't perceive. The motivation here is rooted in efficiency and prediction. A reactive person wastes energy solving the same problems repeatedly. The Sigma seeks the root cause, the system error, so that solving it once resolves the issue permanently. This mindset wasn't taught in school. It was forged by repeatedly observing that correlation is not causation, and that people tend to repeat predictable mistakes. His childhood might have involved deconstructing how a game worked, not just playing it, realizing the rules could be bent or exploited. In his career, while others chase quick promotions, he designs processes that make his input indispensable regardless of titles. He uses data and logic, not office politics, to secure his position. This strategic foresight is his ultimate power. It allows him to design success rather than merely react to opportunity. People often criticize his decisions as overly cautious or detached, failing to grasp that he's playing chess while they are playing checkers. Normal focuses on the piece in front of him. He focuses on the endgame. If this breakdown resonates with how you already operate, let me know with a comment below. Sign number 5. Silence commands respect. The Sigma male weaponizes restraint, choosing silence over noise. The average man feels compelled to fill every pause, to offer an opinion on everything, believing volume equals authority. The Sigma male operates differently. He listens deeply and speaks only when his words are necessary and impactful. This disciplined restraint disrupts expectations, because when he finally does speak, his words carry disproportionate weight, commanding attention without ever demanding it. This isn't about being shy, it's about intellectual economy. The motivation is to ensure every contribution is valuable, contrasting sharply with the constant stream of filler speech most people produce. The Sigma understands that talking too much reveals too much. It gives away his position, his next move, and his lack of certainty. He learned early on that the person asking all the questions usually controlled the interaction, not the person providing all the answers. Even as a young observer, he likely noticed that the loudest voices in the room were often the most insecure, desperate for confirmation. As he refined this skill, silence became his strategic shield, allowing him to gather intelligence while others broadcasted theirs. You see this when a crucial meeting is deadlocked. While others argue their case loudly, the Sigma observes the shifting dynamics, letting the noise exhaust itself before offering the single clarifying statement that solves the problem. This grants him the power of being the final arbiter of truth in a situation without ever having to raise his voice. Some call this behavior standoffish or detached, suggesting a lack of engagement. But the truth is, he's engaged at a level the crowd can't reach. Normal seeks applause. He seeks leverage, and he gains it by saying less.
Sign number 6. He questions blind authority. The Sigma's nature is to logically dismantle power that lacks a valid reason. Most people accept rules, traditions, and instructions based purely on who delivers them. Authority figures are followed simply because they hold the title. The Sigma rejects this premise. His resistance isn't general rebellion, it's a fundamental requirement for logic. If the instruction doesn't make sense or serve a higher, demonstrable purpose, he refuses to comply, which absolutely breaks the power balance in any structured environment. This stems from an innate need for cognitive consistency. He cannot operate effectively on premises he knows to be flawed. Fear of consequences might stop the average man, but the Sigma will calculate the risk of non-compliance against the cost of following a stupid order, and often chooses the former. This trait was likely present when he was a teenager. Realizing that rules imposed out of convenience for the rule maker, not for the benefit of the group, were fundamentally weak. In the modern workplace, this means that he'll refuse to adopt unnecessary bureaucracy or perform tasks that are clearly busy work, even if it irritates a manager focused only on optics. He protects his output quality by guarding his input methods. This gives him the strategic advantage of uncompromised integrity and often leads him to discover the flaws that eventually derail the entire system everyone else blindly followed. People often label him as stubborn or difficult, believing he simply dislikes being told what to do. But the truth is, he's not built to follow blindly. He's built to understand the map before taking the journey. Normal accepts the map. He needs to verify the cartographer. Sign number 7. The walk-away strategy. The Sigma values his inner peace and purpose over fighting unwinnable or draining battles. The average person clings desperately to relationships, jobs, or commitments out of fear of loneliness, loss of status, or the simple effort of change. They tolerate toxicity because letting go feels like failure. The Sigma, however, exercises extreme self-respect by tactically releasing any situation, person, or environment that conflicts with his core values or drains his focus. This immediate exit disrupts expectations because people assume a competent man will stay and fix things. The motivation is ruthless self-preservation of energy and mission. He understands that every minute spent engaging a toxic situation is a minute stolen from his growth. He learned through experience that some battles are not worth the toll on his psychology. That understanding often came from childhood encounters where he was forced to sacrifice his own well-being to placate others, a lesson he vowed never to repeat. You see this clearly in relationships or friendships where the cost of maintenance becomes higher than the reward. He doesn't engage in drawn-out breakups or arguments. He executes a clean, decisive withdrawal to protect his emotional bandwidth. This quick exit is a hallmark of high emotional intelligence, not weakness. It makes him unholdable by drama or obligation. Some mistake this swift departure for cowardice or disloyalty, but the truth is he knows when a situation is no longer serving his long-term objective. Normal clings to comfort. He clings to purpose, and he will walk away from anything that compromises it. You've seen the blueprint. Rejecting hierarchy, mastering solitude, thinking in systems, these aren't just tactics, they are the natural expressions of an unshakable inner strength. Your power is far too deep, too intrinsic, to ever be shaken by temporary external approval or chaos. Nothing can ever take that away from you. Remember this, fear doesn't always come from aggression or volume. Sometimes it's silence, clarity, and absolute control that truly unbalances the herd. Thank you so much for watching. Don't mistake silence for weakness.